All right, peace, family. Wanted to drop another video. This one is going to be dealing with the Harriet Tubman movie. Got a chance to go and see the movie yesterday. Um, the people that I work at Carroll Middle School, the entire staff or teachers, custodians, everyone that works at that school, we were invited to attend this viewing of the Harriet Tubman movie by the head principal of the school. His name is Chris Bird. So we went to go and see the movie. I wanted to go and see the movie because I wanted to, view the movie for myself. There's a lot of, talk surrounding this movie as far as people loving the movie. And then there were people who, did not like the movie for whatever reason. I'm not on here to talk about, the issues as far as the people who had something against the movie. Some people did videos where they were telling people they shouldn't waste their time to go and see the movie. They shouldn't waste their time giving their money to white people to look at a movie that they pretty much put together. A lot of the things that people said as far as the movie is that the movie was not authentic. And I get it. And like I said, I'm not on here to, talk about any of those things. I'm here to give my opinion of what I think about the movie. But like I said, I get what everyone is saying. I get that there may have been some things in the movie that were fabricated, but I also understand that when you're dealing with movies, whether it's fictional or non-fictional, whether it's dealing with historical accuracy or not, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do a movie and it's going to have both elements in it, and they're going to exaggerate certain things in that production so that the movie can sell and make money. So, with that being said, that's one thing that we need to understand about a lot of these films that come out that depict historical figures, whether they're black, white, brown, yellow, it doesn't matter. That's just Hollywood for you. So let me give you guys my take on this particular movie. I thought the movie was good. It was entertaining, but what it did for me, in spite of whether it was historically correct or not, is that it let me see why I need to keep doing the things that I'm doing. Because there were a lot of elements that were in that movie that can be, how can I say it? You can take those elements that were in that movie and you can apply them to modern society as it deals with Black people today. A lot of people didn't know that Harriet Tubman was also known as Moses. And that was because, this is a play off on Moses of the Bible, in which he was given a mission by the Most High to free his people. So in this movie, that's pretty much the synopsis for the Harriet Tubman movie. She had a mission. Her mission was to free her people. So she was given the nickname Moses. Now, like I said, with me, I look at the movie from the perspective of seeing how does it relate to what's going on today with groups like the New Black Panther Party, the Hebrew Israelites, the RBG community, the Kemetic community, Nation of Islam, ADOS. Let's see, even the Black Agenda movement that was put together and has been doing great things by Michi X. So all of us that are putting out, material, putting in work, we're in the community, whether we're on social media or we're out there in the community, we're doing the work. We're doing the same work that Harriet Tubman has done. And in a sense, we're like a modern day Moses. So the things that I gather from this movie as it relates to what's going on today, there were elements in that movie such as dealing with Harriet, where once she was enlightened and she became quote unquote woke, her mission was to go out and save her people. And that's what we're doing. That's what I'm trying to do. So that lets me see that, okay, when I became woke and I decided on what path I wanted to take, there are elements in certain situations that have come along to let me see that, I'm on the right path. In spite of what people may think, in spite of people saying that, you niggas are crazy, or, I don't want to hear that black shit. And it gets depressing. It gets to the point where you're like, fuck these niggas. I do not want to deal with this shit no more. You just want to latch on to those that think like you and want the same things that you want and just deal with that. And you build your community, you build your society. But at the same time, looking at this movie, it showed me why I cannot do that. Our people are scared. And that was another element that was in the movie, especially with the brother that didn't want to cross the pond. And Harriet pulled the gun out on him. The scene with her sister, when she went to get her sister and she pulled out the gun on her sister, and her sister was like, I'm not going with you. And if you try to shoot me, I will scream. We still have that type of attitude today to where our people are scared of the powers that be. Some of them will turn snitch. Some of them will sell you out. Some of them will do everything in their power to undermine your movement or that movement. And some of them do it based off of fear. And then some of them do it based off of the fact that that's just how far lost they are as far as how we've been taught to think by the powers that be for the past almost 500 years. So those were elements that were in the movie, and those things happened back then that we can apply to modern day society. Even with the two black men that were in the movie that were the bounty hunters, we saw that these guys were basically sellouts. But one became enlightened when he saw the vision. Well, he didn't see the vision, but he saw the episode that Harriet had when she goes into this trance. And I'm thinking, she was having seizures. And when she, came out of that, she would be, she would have this enlightenment as far as what path she needed to take, what route she needed to take, how she needed to go about doing what she was doing as far as going back to get her people and, taking the routes that she needed to take to get them to freedom. He switched. He became enlightened and he saw that, okay, this woman is being guided by the hand of God. And that's when he realized that the shit that he was doing, which he probably already realized that, but he needed something else to push him over the edge to let him know that the shit that he was doing was completely wrong. The other brother, the big husky dude, he's one of those motherfuckers where you just want to shoot his ass and just get him out the fucking way because he'll never fucking change. And even in that movie, it was elements in that movie as far as this dude was concerned that will apply to today with a lot of our people. And a lot of people probably say, that's how a lot of black men think today. I disagree, but that's how some people will look at it. But this fool's whole agenda was he got a thrill out of capturing people. And his motive was money and pussy. Even though what he said when these white boys, was asking him, pretty much, what's in it for you? And he was like, all the money I could get so I can buy some white hoes. And, these motherfuckers pulled the guns out on him. Then he flipped that shit and made it seem like, nah, I'm just fucking with y'all, man. That ain't what I was going to do. But that's the way a lot of you motherfuckers think, man. You get on social media and you want to bash the black woman and say that she's this and she's that. And I understand where you guys are coming from, but that's not all black women. And then if we take it back even further, that's not the way she was in the beginning. Just like that's not the way you were in the beginning. You had to be taught to be that way. Whether you were taught straight up or you learned this shit through being around certain individuals. You learned this shit by, just being in a society that promotes shit like that. Those women weren't always that way. They weren't hoes. They weren't tricking. They weren't thoughts. They weren't any of those things. Just like we weren't deadbeat dads, and a lot of us still are not deadbeat dads, even though the media portrays us in that sense. We weren't out here tricking. We weren't out here turning out our women. We weren't beating the fuck out of our women, disrespecting our women. We weren't doing any of those things. We were taught to do those things by the dominant society till it got to a point to where it became the norm. So now this is the order of the day. This is the order of the day for black men and black women in this country and probably around the world. We have been taught to be other than self. And that's why when you look at this movie, for me, it inspired me to get deeper into the things that I'm already into. And the motto that Harriet had, whether she said it or it was implied, she would do this shit until the day that she dies. See, when you step into this so-called conscious arena and you're out here trying to do the work, no matter what that work is, whether you are a keyboard warrior, you are a social media warrior, or you're out here in these streets, or you're all three, you're putting in work. You're doing what you have to do to get our people to wake up, latch on to what they need to latch on to as far as community building in a black sense, nation building in a black sense, so that we can rise up and give our babies something to look forward to, and then they carry that on into the future. That's what this movie has inspired me to do, and that's the way that I look at it. I'm not looking at it in any negative sense because I could do that. And I know white people are going to get the money, but this is the thing behind that. They may get the money, but if we wake the fuck up in the end, we're going to win, no matter how much fucking money that they get off of this movie right now. If we wake the fuck up and start doing what we know we need to do, then the game is over for them. That's the end game. Waking the fuck up and building our own shit. That is the end game. Now, a lot of people were, like I said, they were upset about the movie, but then let's jump to this. The Black Panther movie was not a real... It had nothing to do with anything that was real. How can I say it? The intent behind it had real implications. What I mean by that is there were great black civilizations all throughout Africa. And everyone wants to talk about Kemet. Kemet was one of the best that we had, but we had advanced civilizations all throughout Africa, all throughout Asia, even in North America and South America, even in Antarctica before it became a wasteland as far as, a cold and, frigid climate. We were all over the fucking planet. Every time they go on the earth and dig in the earth, the more shit that they pull up, the blacker it gets. So we've had great civilizations. And even though Wakanda was some fictional story, the Black Panther is a fictional character, it had real implications behind it to the point where there were people, I saw shit on the news, even on social media, where people were dressing up in African attire. And for that brief moment in time, we went back to being who we were. We went back to loving black, embracing black, brother and sisters. Those were the terms that we were calling each other, gods. And I don't even want to use the term goddess because the black woman is a god too. We were looking at each other in that fashion. And it was peace and love, man. I even read shit where people were going up in the theater and they were pouring out libation and banging on the drums and whatnot. That's how this movie got people motivated. But the problem is we stopped. We let that momentum die down. So with these movies that come out, instead of looking at it in a negative light, take what you can get from that movie and let it empower you to keep this shit going on until it becomes second nature. Till it's like when you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth, you wash, you put on your clothes to go wherever it is that you're going. That's how this has to be. Your culture, your blackness has to be your badge of honor, to where when you wear that shit, you rock that shit. Motherfuckers know, he or she knows who he or she is. They love being black. They embrace being black. And when you do shit like that, that's what empowers the youth. That way we don't have to worry about them growing up being thugs, hoes, criminals, the lowlifes of society, going out here doing all kind of stupid shit. Not just stupid shit to black folks, but they doing stupid shit to other people as well, which makes it harder for those of us who are in the so-called conscious community to try to do shit to flip the script to where we're not seen in that light. Now, I don't give a fuck about how other people see us, but I do care about how we see each other. But I also know that these people have the power to portray us as being other than ourselves, as to being low lifes, to the point where all the other races out there, when they look at us like we not shit. It's up to us to change that reality. And the only way that we're going to do that is that we get inspired, whether it's through a movie, whether it's through individuals, whether it's through groups, whether it's through reading, whatever it is that inspires you to take this shit to the next level, to the point where we can be free here. Because once you free everything up here, then there are no more shackles that can hold you down. So that's my thoughts on the Harriet Tubman movie. Like I said, don't take someone else's word for it. And that's not to say that what they're saying is not valid, but go and see the movie and then come out of that movie and you assess whatever it is that you need to assess as far as that movie is concerned. And then if you can get something good from it, then take that and let that empower you to do what you need to do in the community. And if you don't get shit from it, then hey, you didn't get shit from it. It didn't do anything for you. No one is going to be mad. And whatever you have to say about it, that's your right to say it. You're not wrong. But whatever it is that you get from the movie, in my opinion, go see the movie. It's a good movie. It's entertaining, but at the same time, it'll make you think. So like I said, those are my thoughts on the movie. And, go and see it for yourself. Other than that, I'm out. Y'all know how I always do. I salute you. Peace. And until the next time, Black Power.